I've spoken about this before, but one of the best articles I ever read about coaching was written about a guy called Bill Sweetenham and how he's changed his approach to coaching. And what he does now, and I think this is, and I sort of tell this to anyone who is a swim coach, like what he does now is, instead of telling people, right, like do another 200, like you were too slow, you should have gone 222, you were too slow. He asks them questions now. So he's diving into making them realize where they went wrong or what they did right, and then getting them to come up with those solutions. It's right. All right, you missed your times here. Where do you think you could have found those 3 seconds? And, do you think if you do another 2 of these, that's going to help you make the Olympic team? Like, he's getting them to come up with the solutions and getting them to think about it. And that's what I try and do. Even with the younger kids that I sometimes coach, it's like, yeah, you sort of need to tell them, probably more so than the adults. But if you're asking the right questions, they are going to become so much more knowledgeable about and take ownership of those things. And for anything that comes down to like lifestyle, when there's not a coach there, it's like they've got the tools there to be able to ask themselves the right questions and pick up whether they are making the right decisions or not.
This is when I mentioned the motorbike school before, the California Superbike School. That's our coaching process. So when I say it's the best in the world, I mean, we're following it. And the guy who came up with it is not an Olympic level swim coach. He actually, he's just a motorbike junkie in the US. He's a California surfer dude. But we'll do exactly that. So, you'll follow a student around and you'll see them maybe offline in a corner. And when you come in and say, how was that session? And they'll say, that was great. Like, wow, that drill was amazing. And I might say, because I want to draw their attention to something, was that the line you wanted through turn 4? Oh, yeah, that's totally where I want to be. Well, were you able to get on the throttle hard coming out of that corner and actually accelerate down towards the next corner effectively? Oh, no, now that you mention it, I was probably out a little bit wide and I would have run off if I'd come on the throttle. But it's only when you make them aware of it and you draw their attention to something that they can actually create an answer for themselves. So, I've had people go out and, the racetrack's pretty easy because it's the same every time. And so you can say to someone, I want you to go out and tell me which part of the ripple strip's got the most rubber on it, because that's where the apex of the corner is supposed to be. And they'll come in and say, it was like 3 meters past where I thought the apex of the corner was. And what did that do to your line through the corner and blah, blah, blah. And so suddenly by doing this question process, we actually can advance much faster. It can be very uncomfortable though. So I asked a customer this week, I said to him, like, who are you? Because we were a little bit stuck. And he said, well, I don't understand what you mean. I said, well, who are you? Like, I'm a spiritual being. And, well, no, you're not. So let's make this simple. If someone was going to describe you to me, what would they say? They're not going to waste their time on physical appearance. They're going to tell me about the essence of you. What are they going to say? Dead silence. I mean, and this guy's a middle-aged guy. He's a hard worker. He's successful. He's married. He's got kids. But he's lost himself along the way. Also, if you're trying to improve yourself, or you want to go from point A to point B, where point B is. You've got definite numbers in your mind in terms of body fat, in terms of how many pull-ups you can do, whatever it happens to be, but you don't even know where point A is. Well, GPS only works if you've got 2 locations, right? Like, how are we going to get to point B if you don't even know where point A is? And so even starting to draw his attention back to something as simple as, like what are the things that make you you?